Anybody who does nails knows French nails is one of the hardest designs to do. I know it looks simple and innocent because it's just one swoop, but to get that accurate is very difficult and takes a lot of practice. This nail takes quite some time to do. I've been playing with it, as you can see, and I hope I have a few tricks to make it a little bit quicker, a little bit easier. Let's get started. So I've done a few different designs and different ways you can do it and learned some tricks to make it a little bit quicker. Like I said, this is a very involved nail. If I'm doing this at the nail table, I would just do one maybe accent nail for a client. There's not a lot of time to just kind of wing this design. If you're doing it where the client wants all of them, I would book quite some time to do it. It's double the time for me. So if it takes you maybe 90 minutes to do a full set, you might be looking at 3 hours. Okay, I'm going to work on the thumb. I'm going to do them on the long side. So I'm going to do them a very, as you can see, kind of a pointy almond. Oh, I do want to take a second. I'm really bad at marketing, but I do want to take a second and let you know that I have some classes coming up. Check nailcareer.com. I've got 2, one in Victoria and one in Vancouver in the beginning part of 2020. So I take a little bit of time to make sure I'm forming it up right because the form is your foundation. You want to make sure you get that right. So the method I've noticed everybody's pretty much doing this is they lay down the layer and then they shape it with a hand file, and then they have to wait for it to dry before you can do that. Then another layer underneath, and then the clear layer, and then shaping it. So I'm trying to do this where you do it just kind of building it. We're going to shape the first one with the file. I'll show you that. And then the rest we're just going to lay down without waiting for the curing of the acrylic and or the gel, whichever you're using. We're just going to dive right in and start shaping it. So right now I've got nothing on this nail. So I'm going to lay down the nail bed first. And that's the only one we're going to actually use the hand file on. So let's start till we drop or till we get kicked out. Let's just say what we want, come on, spit it all out. You and me have got the time to try to get to know each other's minds. So let's start till we drop or till we get kicked out. This is the starting point. I need to make this high, and that'll make more sense the further we go. But where the arch is, we want to make that at the high point, and quite high. It's going to save you a lot of grief. And now we'll just let that cure. So I'm going to file the bed part. You can take the form off if you like, but you just want to crisp this up. Now, you don't have to do this. If you're really good at laying this down, you don't have to do this. I'm doing this because that's what everybody's doing, and that's what they do through the whole nail, but we're just going to do this for the first one. And this is where we're going to try to save some time. When you have to wait for each layer of clear to dry and you want to file it, that really adds to the time. But the reason why that they're doing that is because you're trying to sharpen it up as much as possible, because again, French is hard to do. But as you get better at doing it, you can do this without using the file. Okay, so I'm going to dust it off. Now here's the trick for getting the 3D look to make it look dimensional. So the reason why it does look dimensional is because it's got to have a certain amount of thickness. Now, of course, our nails have to have a certain amount of thickness, especially in this area, to hold some strength. So what gives it that dimension is butting some color up, the next layer of color, up to this wall that we've created. It's basically a wall of acrylic. We wanted to blow this up. It's a wall of acrylic. So I've got a couple colors I'm going to work with. Okay, so I'm going to switch glasses because it's very, very fine detail. Make sure I'm showing it to you correctly. So you want to do is get a bead. Now you don't have to get a lot of acrylic at this point. There are several ways you can do this. You can do this with gel. I'm just showing it to you with acrylic. Okay, so you want to get a little bit of your color and you want to put it up against that wall. and bring it all the way up to the side. You want that nice French point. Now you see how I've gotten a little bit of the product on top of the nail bed? Doesn't matter because it's high. We're gonna be able to file all that off. That's where you don't have to get a little bit freaky and try to make it crisp. Don't worry about that. That's where you're gonna pick up a little bit of time and helping to do this a little bit faster. I'm gonna get a tiny, tiny little bead. I'm gonna flip it on its side here, and I'm just gonna make sure I've gotten enough acrylic up in there to make the nice French points. Just get it in there. And I'm gonna flatten it out as I come toward the nail, just to extend it a little bit. We're gonna do the same on the other side. See that? Just get a little bit in there. Make sure it's nice and pointy in there. But you don't want it to be thick because you need to put the clear on that to encapsulate it. So you can see it's up against that wall. You want to make sure the product is up against that wall of acrylic that you have built. That's where, when you put the clear on top, you're going to see a drop. That creates the 3D look. It's very cool. Very clever who invented this. Okay, so you can see that drop now when you're looking at it. It's quite the cliff, right? Okay. Making sure that you have everything you want, and spread the gold or whatever color you're using, spread it out a little bit, because that's going to be the sort of landing that we're going to look at once we get the next layer on. So we want that to dry just a little bit. Sometimes the ones with the glitters in them takes a little bit longer to dry. Okay, so now we're going to go in with the next layer. Now this layer we want to focus on. This layer we're not going to file. This is the clear layer that's going to encapsulate the gold, right? So when you put that on, everyone's waiting for that layer to dry before they shape it up. And you can certainly do that. I'm just trying to save a little bit of time. So if we have to wait for it to dry, that takes time. And then to file it takes time. So I'm trying to shave that part off. So now I'm just going to put a layer of clear. Now I am going to not worry so much about the top part where it's landing, but I am really focusing on where this clear is landing on the gold, which is my first color. I want to make sure that it's landing exactly where I want. I'm also going to off-center it. So I could do it completely symmetrical, but I've done it with a couple of the other ones and it looks really cool. I really like it. Where I sort of offset the French. It's still super Frenchy, but it's off to the side a little bit. It looks really cool.
Looks like you're making a candy. Kind of reminds me of
Hungry, are you?
Maybe a little. Kind of looks like a taffy or caramel. You know,
what kind of caramel are you eating that has glitter in it?
No, well, not the glitter, but just
Seriously.
The triangle, the color. It's kind of like that.
So you want to make sure that you are watching those clear edges, like right in here. I don't know if you can see that. It's really hard to twist my arm that way for the camera, but if you can see that, see how I'm really making sure that we got a nice wall of clear acrylic. This will save the drying and the filing time. But you've got to make sure it's a wall, a nice, thick, heavy wall. So push it up if you have to. Okay. How you can double check this to make sure you have enough. You want to make sure that the clear part is quite thick. It really wouldn't matter if you went like super, super thick because you're going to shave it all down off the top and hopefully it'll be nice and crisp. If it falls off too much by the time you put the next layer on, if it's not enough of a wall, when you file it, it'll kind of droop. And that's not what you want. But that's looking pretty good. Okay, I don't know if I have it enough to the one side that I wanted, but I think it might be hardened enough that it doesn't want to be coaxed anymore. So this is the point where I'm saving the time. I'm not going to cure it. I'm not going to wait for it to cure. I'm not going to file it. I'm just going to head right in with the next color. So if you've got where you want it, now this takes a bit of practice, but if you got it where you want it, you can literally slam this next color right on top of the whole thing. It looks like a disastrous mess, but filing it, it will all come to life. We hope, if I did it right. It's easy to mess up, don't get me wrong. And I'm going to make sure I bring that silver right up into the corner. I make sure that it lands in there too. Now again, we want this to drop again. We had that nice wall of acrylic, so we want to see that drop again. So I'm going to bring out the silver and just bring it out and just pan it right out. Now, doesn't that look like a terrible mess? Frankly, when you're first doing this, it is awfully scary because you don't know what you're going to end up with, if it's going to look anything like what you've imagined in your mind. So you'll have to do this a few times. I would not do this kind of nail right when you are first time with a client. Practice this one first. This is pretty involved. But when you get it, it's so cool. Okay, so you can see this horrible mess that I have now, but you can see how it's just kind of falling off, right? That's the depth that we're looking for. Okay, so now I can go in with another ball of clear. Oh, let me clean up my brush a bit more. I do have to say thank you to a very smart viewer who suggested that I put a ceramic, see that? I put a ceramic tile down underneath my paper towel, which absorbs all my product, so I don't damage my towels. And because I'm using a lighter color towel today, I remembered what you said and I decided to put it. Very good idea. I don't know why I didn't think of that. Thank you. You're saving my towels. Okay, so I am going to clean my brush, make sure there's no sparkles in there. And I'm going to get my clear. And I'm going to get a big ball of clear here. And I'm going to plop it right down there. Remember I swooped the first one gold to the side? I'm going to try to swoop this to the other side. This clear layer determines, wherever you put it, determines how much of the silver we're going to see. Whatever clear layer you're laying down, that is going to determine what is seen. If that makes sense. Now this is a bit long. I don't think I want it quite that long. So I'm going to take some off. I'm not filing this. I'm going to shape it with my brush. But I'm going to push it to the side a little bit. I really do like that look for some reason. I think it's really cute. Okay, just make sure this is nice and high. See how I'm pushing? Sort of pushing up against it to create a nice wall. Again, it doesn't matter how high you make it. It's just got to be high. And if you're not sure if the clear has gotten away on you at this point and you're not able to have the shape that you like, don't worry about it. Wait for it to dry. Just take a little extra time and then you can file it with the hand file and get the exact shape that you were looking for. And after a while, when you get better at it, you'll be able to shape it up with the clear without having to wait for cure time and filing. Okay, so now I feel pretty comfortable about that. I mean, it's all going to tell what's going to happen when I file it. That's how much we're going to know if we messed up or I messed up or not. This is a design that takes some practice and some technique. Okay, so now I'm going to go in at it with the gold one more time. I'm just going back and forth between the gold and the silver. And again, it doesn't matter how much I get on the top. And it does look like a disaster. We're on the side again. I'm just going to put some more gold right in there. Not enough gold on that one side. I'm gonna look at the nails straight, make sure that by the time I file all of this, I have the amount of color that I need, shaping it properly underneath. Now, if you are using a glitter and gold like this, or a silver, whatever glitter you're using, sometimes it can really get into your brush and it's harder to get out. Some nail technicians have said to me over the years, they have 2 brushes, one for glittery acrylic and one for not. I am not that organized. I've tried it, but I always grab the wrong one and I mix it up anyway. So I just learned to clean it in between when I'm trying to put the glitter on. So when I'm putting the clear on next, I just don't want a lot of glitter in my brush to put a lot of glitter in the clear. If you don't mind that look, it's not a big deal. Okay, I'm just gonna cap it with clear on the end now, and then we're gonna file this mess and see what we come up with. So I'm just capping the gold on the very end at this point. Okay, we're just gonna let that dry and then we're gonna file it out. Okay, so once it's cured, we'll take our form off. Now we gotta file that. So now we want to take away the bulk and hopefully reveal the design which we seek. This is where the truth comes out. This is why it's such a learning curve, because you kind of got to do it and then file it and then see where you're at. Remember all the gold I got on the top part? Doesn't matter because you're going to file it all off. That's why the pink, the nail bed part, had to be quite thick, because whatever you put on top of that, you're filing below that anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So sort of taking the pressure off of you, having to do the French lines so crisp with the application alone every single time. Okay, I'm going to tack the rest, I think. Just let me get the free edge here. Okay, so let's check out a hand file. I must thank personally those of you who have purchased my file and brush kit, and now I'm selling the file and the brush separately, so you can check those out at nailcareer.com as well. But I'm just going to grab one of those files, my coarse one, and we're going to shape this up. I'm going to give it a nice, kind of like the rest, you know, like not so pointy almond, a little bit of a rounder almond on the tip. It's starting to reveal all my nice crisp lines. This is the scary part. You're kind of filing it down and making sure that all your lines are going to be relatively crisp. This will be the telltale of all your efforts. Okay, let's get a look at this bad boy. Look at that. I haven't done French lines in a long time, so I'm happy about that. Oh, that's gorgeous. Okay. So what's going to really show the dimension, especially because I've used some glitter, is a top coat. So exciting. I sure had fun doing these this morning, all these beautiful ones. And now I've got a matching one end. Okay, let's get a top coat on it. And check out the dimensions. Oh. Top coat never lets me down. Look at that. Oh, I think that's nicer than the other ones I was doing this morning.
They all look great.
I think this one might be my favorite. Look at the dimension of that.
Wow, that looks like amber.
Yes, because of the color of the gold.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay, you guys check out the reveal shots. I'm going to nuke it. That is stunning. I love it.
Beautiful.
It really is.
So much dimension.
If you guys do attempt this design, I hope those couple of tips will help you do it a little bit quicker. Enjoy. That was fun. I love it.